Sharpal sent me their 202H fixed angle sharpener to test. They did not pay me anything for this review, and I don't have an affiliate link with them, but since they sent me the sharpener for free, this video is considered a paid promotion. From a footprint standpoint, I think this sharpener is on par with the Hapstone RS or the TS Prof Pioneer Cadet, the Kazakh M10 Workshop Pro, or a Wicked Edge Go. All of these systems start at $299 with stones and go up very quickly from there, while this bit of fun comes in at $169, everything included. What does your money get you? Well, the works, basically. The 202H comes in a quality carrying storage case. I've been waiting for someone to send one of these out with their sharpeners, and here it is. While the handle and buckles on this thing don't feel cheap, they're not as nice as the rest of the case. Still, very good for the money. You also get diamond and ceramic grit from 220 up to 6,000, plus a leather strap with rouge, a pen to mark bevels and find angles, a brush to clean away particles before strapping, a water bottle to dress the ceramic stones with, and some tape for the clamps if you're into it. The one thing that may be missing is a clamp to fix it to a table. Many other systems this size, for example, include a C-clamp. The base unit is solid metal. It goes together very quickly and is quite sturdy. The orange knobs feel a little bit plasticky, but they appear capable. They're not, they don't feel cheap. The sharpening rod runs through this brass nut swivel, which moves up and down along the riser to adjust the sharpening angle. What about the stones? The stones attached to the sharpening rod via a screw on the tip of the sharpening rod, which seems a little odd to me. The stones are replaceable, sold in sets of 2 for about $20, or an entire set can currently be had for about $70, which is good, but also maybe bad. I don't know. That frankly has me worried about quality. Out of the box, though, they're cutting nicely. Now, the stone holders do not accept the ubiquitous Edge Pro style stones, meaning you're sort of beholden to Sharpal for replacements. You have to go back to the company store, so to speak. That is a bit of a downer for me, because not only do the Edge Pro style stones affix to the sharpening arms quickly via a spring-mounted rig as opposed to loosening and tightening a small nut or knob, one can also mix and match their favorite grit and even make their own stones using commonly sold Edge Pro aluminum backers. Sharpal is proud that their sharpener does not require a digital angle finder or inclinometer, as that function is built into the 202H. Knife blades with less than 2 3/4 thickness mount with a 1/2 inch of the blade protruding forward of the sharpening clamps. One can measure that distance using the sharpening stones themselves. We use side A on the riser to determine the sharpening angle in this case. Wider blades, those edges sit forward of the clamps 2 inches, and one uses side B on the riser to determine the sharpening angle in that case. It's hard to know how accurate this is, as there's no real flat surfaces here to set up an inclinometer on, and using the side of a knife gets a little bit dicey because they're curved sometimes. So let's clamp up a flat piece of steel that I've grounded an edge on, and we'll just see where we fall out with accuracy here. So we're going to use side A set at 15 degrees. After marking up our flat piece of steel for a 1/2 inch shoulder, it's clamped up and the inclinometer is calibrated to 0. By putting it on the underside of our sharpening stone, we get 14.7 degrees actual. The difference here between 14.7 and 15 is 0.3 degrees. For 95% of users, that is plenty accurate, let's be honest. Now, flipping the knife from side to side is done with this manual turnstile that locks in place and unlocks with this knob. It takes some practice to flip things smoothly. I didn't expect sort of an auto-locking detent style turnstile at this price range like we find in the more expensive Hapstone RS or the higher-end TS Prof models. But tightening and loosening this knob for each knife turn, I'm wondering if that's not a little bit bothersome. I don't like it. When not in use, the sharpening arm rests up here. The tube garage function is a little bit slippery, a little bit wobbly, but maybe that's by design. I've seen a lot worse. Okay, so let's sharpen a knife. Let's see what we get going all the way up to the 6,000 grit stone plus the strop. By the way, if you guys see like this stuff wobbling around a little bit and you're wondering if it's sturdy or not because the knife's doing this a little bit as I'm going back with the sharpener, it's not the sharpener, it's the table. This is solid. Once it's fully tightened, there's no give here in the base or anything like this. It's just my table has uneven spots. So the 3,000 and 6,000 grit stones require a few drops of water, according to the manual. Okay, well. So that's just treetop that's just treetop shaving. I'm not really pressing against the skin. I'm just taking it right across the top. If I press against the skin, it just zips it all off. Pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Number one is price. This sharpener has similar features to units that are 2 and 3 times its price. Number two, nice storage and carrying case. A welcome feature. I complain about this all the time, and Sharpal's put out a quality case here. Number three, the included grit. It goes from 220 up to 6,000 plus a leather strap. This is a much wider range of grit than you get included with other systems, and it's inexpensive. Number four, amenities that are included: tape, brush, water squeeze bottle. It makes this system a turnkey system, and I think that's the target audience they're aiming for. More on that later. Number five, it is sturdy. The base, riser arm, clamps, these are all solid. This is not a gimpy, cheap feeling sharpener, guys. This is well built. Number six, unlike a lot of Amazon systems, this system is from a name brand manufacturer with a warranty and manufacturer support. Number seven is digital angle finder not needed. Cost goes down. Cons. Number one, digital angle finder not needed. Effort goes up. The need to carefully measure the placement of your blades in the sharpening clamp takes some getting used to. It's probably easier to mark the knives before you try to clamp them. You know, for a lot of people, that's probably not going to be a big deal because using an inclinometer also takes time, right? But for me, it doesn't feel as efficient. Number two, grit issues. You know, there's the quality question. The price on this grit suggests it's not high quality, but then again, you can replace it very easily and inexpensively. But I think one of the main issues for me with the grit is that where are my Edge Pro style stones? You know, more variety is possible. Some people might already have the grit they wanted to use in a sharpener. They can't use it anymore because these sharpening arms don't accommodate them. Perhaps an add-on Edge Pro style clamp for the sharpening rod can be designed by Sharpal. Number three, con, knobs. Everywhere you look, there's knobs. Knobs to change out the stone and flip the turnstile, slow things down significantly for me. And they're sort of wear points that may cause issues eventually. All right, the TLDR conclusion here is that this is a great turnkey system. It's got an awesome case, solid build quality, all the grit you can want, and these accessories to go along with it. I think it's just a top choice for entry and intermediate level users for sure. If you sharpen more than 3 or 4 knives at a time or sharpen very frequently, you may be looking for more. Let me explain. The built-in edge angle mechanism is nice, but it takes a little extra work in my estimation, and I think I prefer an inclinometer. Changing out the grit and turning the knife over from side to side require frequent use of knobs. And if you're sharpening more than a few knives at a time, the amount of fussing with that is probably going to feel more like work than fun. Experienced users also may have their own Edge Pro style grit that this system won't accommodate. I think Sharpal should make an aftermarket spring style stone holder to accommodate Edge Pro style stones. I think the appeal of the system would widen significantly. And then, maybe working on this turnstile. You don't need an auto locking detente type thing. You know, TS Prof and their systems of this size have a clamp on one of theirs that works pretty effectively. It's easy to use, much easier than a knob, or maybe a pull to turn, release to lock mechanism for flipping, as opposed to this knob stuff. Overall, the Sharpal 202H is a tremendous value at its current price point. Probably the best value I've seen in a sharpener, given its quality and case. I think you really have to have very good reasons that you're going to look for something more expensive and go up to the next level, because the next level is $130 more to start. So, props to Sharpal for getting this system out at this price point. Frankly, I think they could probably sell it for a bit more.